Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today, it's going to be a match from the Katowice qualifiers. It's going to be Serral versus Cure here on Triton, the Ladder Edition. Top left-hand corner, we've got the Finnish player. He is Serral, and in the bottom right, we've got Cure, the Korean Terran player. He's one of the elite Terran players in the entire world. Serral won BlizzCon back in 2018. He got defeated by Raynor last BlizzCon, and I can't quite wrap my head around the fact that a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid has Serral's number, but I don't know. ZVZ is weird sometimes. That is my explanation. 16 hatch here from Serral. No pool first from him. 18 gas, and then 17 hatch. Let's watch it in action from a champion of BlizzCon. 17, 18. We'll get up to about 120, 150 minerals here. And then go for the extractor. 115, 120, 130, 140, and 150. Bam. And then the 17 is going to come up soon because you still have a bunch of minerals left over. And ka-chink, 17. All right. So really on point here from Serral. That is an important thing. If you want to be elite at this game, you have to have a build order. And you got to execute it very well. You can't just know what you're doing. You have to execute it on time every time. If you're late, if you're slow, that can be the difference between you losing and winning the game. I'm not kidding about this. It's crazy. StarCraft is a very tough game that way. Reaper on the way. Reaper's name is incredibly long. It's Hannex. Once a proud Terran commander during the Brood War, Hannex had continually lost battle after battle. The straw that broke the camel's back occurred when Hannex allowed his entrenched forces to be overrun by only 5 Hydralisks. Rather than go down with the ship, Hannex decided to lift off his buildings and observe the Protoss and Zerg from afar as they waged war on the very islands where his forces were decimated. This might be our first Brood War-centric Reaper name. He did so hoping to gain insight into their strategies. However, at the conclusion of the war, Hannex returned to the Terran Dominion only to be tried for treason by Emperor Mengsk. Due to his past meritorious service and steadfast commitment to the Dominion, Mengsk, having observed Hannex's penchant for floating over cliffs, decided to offer Hannex an alternative to execution, a stay of execution, only to enlist in the Reaper Corps. Hannex begrudgingly accepted, and to this very day he can be seen jumping over cliffs on his way to scout enemy mineral lines. That's a very specific reference to a free-for-all that I played in Brood War on the channel here one Saturday not a while ago. And yeah, I basically killed Hannex with 5 Hydralisks on an island map. I dropped him, and he didn't respond very well, and he got killed. Then he left off his buildings and just flew around watching everything. It was pretty funny. So apparently somebody watched that and made a Reaper name in commemoration of that event. All right, so he's not dead, and he's got a Zergling kill, so that's pretty good. Overlord scouting in. I think he's going to live here. Wow, it's going to be close, though. This is really good stutter step micro out of Cure. What else is he doing with his micro, though, honestly? 22, 60. Oh, he's going to live. 5. Oh, my gosh. 5 HP, though. That's one more hit. That is one more hit, and he was toast. He's alive. That's massive for Serral. Loving that. Meanwhile, another command center on the way. 3rd CC being built inside the house. Hellion harassment going to be coming here, too. This is a really greedy build out of Cure. Serral could probably shut it down if he went for that 2-base Roach Ravager style thing, but he doesn't seem to be doing that. I'm looking for a Roach Warren, and I don't see anything around anything like that here. No extra gas. So, yep, he's just droning up like you do, making a couple Zerglings, making some Queens. He'll defend. Really needs to get a 4th base up, though, because Cure is not going to be able to kill him anytime soon. And the sooner Serral gets a 4th, the better it's going to be for him economically into the mid and the late game. The Overlord sees it, though. So the Overlord sees the 3rd CC. And at that point, you need to send a drone out. Where's the drone? That drone, are you going to be a 4th base? Or are you going to be a 4th base? One of you needs to be a 4th base. I'm feeling it in my bones. If we're going to do this... My gosh, no. They're not doing it. All right. Well, Serral has some other plans then. He's got Overlord speed, which we saw the Overlord speed cruising in there to the main base. Getting a perfect scout off and then surviving, mind you. I mean, Overlords with speed are really hard to deal with, especially if you're going for a fast 3rd CC because you don't have much army. And these Overlords, I mean, no Overlords have died so far, which is really nice control and a bit of luck out of Serral. Still no 4th. I've really only ever seen Cure in elite TBZs versus Raynor. I don't know how this looks against Serral. They've had some elite, crazy epic games, though. Raynor and Cure are 2 really good matches. They just really work well together to make an entertaining games and really long macro crazy games. So Cure, he is non-stop. He's going to be attacking all over the place. He's got a Liberator here while he's microing Hellions over at the third. I mean, it's crazy what he's capable of doing. This Liberator is still getting kills. Killing larvae, killing drones as they come out of those eggs. The Hellions managed to escape. This is what I'm talking about. Cure is one of those multitaskers. He's really good at doing this against Zerg and making them want to die because there's so much Terran attacking them from all angles at all times. The Liberator finally goes down. The Hellions are trying to swing back on in. Cure has managed to establish his third base. It is an orbital and not a planetary fortress. Getting a planetary at your third, probably a good idea for you if you're like a gold, platinum, diamond level player. But for the Grandmasters and above, you really want this to be a CC or an orbital command rather. For that extra income it will afford you in the mid-game. Now, Serral, you're really giving any tips at all to what he's going to do. He's got a lair, which is great. Extra gas, couple evolution chambers, and a Baneling nest. But no Hydralisk Den, no Roach Warren, no Spire. He's really holding off on this. He's now taking a fourth base and throwing up a macro hatch inside his main. Really moving into late game here. Overseer with speed is so zippy. The cruise on in. See, yes, it's definitely bio. It's going to be Marine tank with some medevac support. So we'll make some Banelings. There we go. Banelings in production now. Right over here. Going for 1-1 on his Lings. And his Banelings is not going to be, in effect during this attack. But it will be nice for future attacks here because Cure, it's hard to transition to mech off of, 3 barracks, 4 barracks, 5 barracks. You're really kind of stuck here. I haven't seen that. That's more of a Brood War thing. We do see players transition from bio to mech in Brood War, and I'm wondering if that'll make its way over to the StarCraft 2 scene as well. I don't know. So the Banelings are slow, and the Hellions are here, and the Banelings are gone, and the target fire on the Banelings is really good. But enough shots are getting off here that it looks like Cure's going to be forced out. Just barely, though, as more Lings trickle in. Zerglings going after the wall at the third base. I'm not sure how SCVs died. Maybe a Baneling shot or two made that happen, but it didn't hurt Cure all that much. Serral kept his fourth, which is really important for him. Keeping that fourth base, centrifugal hooks on the way for him, and Cure is not done yet. Not by a long shot. Zerglings coming on in, and that's a full wall with Marines behind it, so that's not happening for you. That's actively burning now, though, and Cure is going to repair it. Nicely done. 2-2 on the way from Cure at 7 minutes. Great timing that way. Working on the 1-1, Serral still is, and again, it's the melee attack and the ground carapace. So this could be Ultralisks. There could also be Broodlords, but generally it's going to be Ultras if that's the upgrade pattern that you're going to start with here at the 7-minute mark. You can really tell what the Zerg player is going to do. So we'll see. We're not there yet. All right, we're not at the late game yet. There's not an infestation pit, I don't think. Nah, he's too worried about the aggression out of Cure here off of 3 bases. Centrifugal hooks is 5 seconds from completion. The Banelings, if they had the speed, this would be so much easier to hold. There it is. And now he goes from all directions, from the back, from the top. All the tanks die because they can't get picked up while they're in siege mode. And a bunch of Marines do manage to unload here in a fairly safe position. But the hatch stays alive on 300 HP. It was taking tank fire, but it's not dead yet. Creep spreading down this way and down this way. Serral's trying to not get caught by surprise here. That's just too many Lings and Banes, man. They've got 1-1. They're scary. They are really scary. Continuing to drone up here. It's a Hydralisk Den. There's your tech. So Hydralisk Den out of Serral here at 8.5 minutes, which feels late. But he's been able to hold off just barely, keeping his fourth base alive in the face of all of these attacks out of Cure. Is Cure going for a fourth now? He is fourth command center, rather, on the way at the third base location. Additional barracks in production, going for drilling claws. We'll see Widow Mines coming out sooner rather than later, and his 2-2 is wrapping up here at 8.5 minutes. That's what we're talking about. The timings are really important. Tanks at a low ground position. High ground fire in there. And I think Serral's okay with this. As long as you're not directly hitting his hatch, he can live with it. Creep Tumor is getting picked out of the ground, though, with that Marine fire. Baneling's getting decent hits. Where the heck is Cure's attention otherwise? Is he worried about that Overlord? He might be worried about that Overlord, but more Banelings coming in. Queen's going to absorb a couple shots here, and then we go in from all directions once more. A little bit of a better avoiding the surround there from Cure, but he's finally forced to pick up again. A medevac does die. The tanks are gone. And Serral's swarming capabilities are just on point here. Haven't had a Serral game on the channel in a while. I figured it's time. It is time for a Serral game in a ZVT. Haven't seen one of those in quite some time, and it's just something to behold. It really is. Love this guy. He is a robot. He is a machine. So Cure's 4th base landing over here. The Lings, are they coming right for the main? That's a lot of Marines holding that, though. I mean, going into the 3rd base is not a bad idea. There's nothing here. There's no planetary. There's no Marines. There's nothing at all. I mean, few SCVs are going to die. They have good HP counts. Only 3 of them die, but all the Lings get out, which is probably a fair trade. I mean, some Banelings would have been worth their weight in gold. Nice job, though. Cure backtracking a little bit with his army in the middle of the map to take out those Zerglings and make them less effective on that side, too. Serral's he already has a 5th base over here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff from him. So yeah, nobody's really compromised at this stage of the game. Everyone's been allowed to do pretty much whatever they want. Serral has been slowed down a tiny bit. Cure has been slowed down a tiny bit. But they're all moving in 3-3 upgrades here from Cure, working on an infestation pit. Is Serral working on his 5th base saturation? Is Serral, and so far so good, I would say, from both of these players. This definitely could be a Cure win here today. He's in a great position for it. He's getting Marauders. Banelings coming into this 3rd. Nice reaction time. The SCV split was good. That could have been a lot more disastrous. But never mind. 12 go down. Okay, that's about what you would expect. So 12 SCVs down. I mean, it could have been 20, right? But 12 is gruesome for Cure. He has ended up losing 28 SCVs to 3 drones, which is not good. It's really not. Cure needs to kill this base, like, right now. I don't know if Serral's going to allow it. He's transfusing really, really well. Again, just from both directions here is Serral. Is there enough? The target firing is insanely good from Cure. The target firing is nuts. Zerglings getting into the 3rd base, picking off supply depots, going after SCVs, trying to supply block Cure, and he does it really effectively. That is a dead base. Banelings getting serious hits, but if the Marines just turn around, maybe they know they have the hatch, and they're trying to kill Overlords. They're trying to kill Banelings before they come in. Lings desperately rolling into this. Banelings getting really nice hits. Oh, man. And Serral somehow holds on to his 4th hatchery, despite it being at 183 HP and a Terran army directly on top of it for a good 10 seconds there. They chose not to attack it. They chose to kind of push on Serral and try to kill him there. That backfired. I really think it would have been better for him to kill the hatchery, at the very least slowing down Serral's income at this base for a little bit. But here he comes again, despite being supply blocked. He is not supply blocked now, but now he is pushing in. And wow, Cure! Serral taps out and Cure wins the game. Was that a little bit premature from Serral? 31 armor supply to 94. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was not. Let's see the situation here. Holy smokes, Cure. Despite not taking down a hatchery, despite only killing 3 drones in 12 minutes, and despite losing 31 SCVs, he wins the game. This is a little bit confusing to me. All right, so basically we have 3 Hydralisks and 6 Banelings at this point versus 26 Marines, 10 Marauders, a tank, and 8 medevacs with 5 Widow Mines. Okay, that's insane. Also, the worker count for Cure is just fine. Cure managing, despite all the losses, despite the deaths to his units, despite the deaths to his SCVs, to keep his army alive. He does some really good pickups, right? A lot of times his army's surrounded. He's able to kind of pick those guys up and save them for future battles. And he just kept coming back time and time again to the same spot and finally just made enough trades to where Serral recognized he was done. So that's game 1 of our sneaky twofer. Let's move into a game number 2 between these 2 players. Wow, Cure. Let's put a 1 next to your name. What a fantastic display. I don't know that I've seen a good Terran win against Serral at this stage of the game. Usually Serral's at the very least adept at holding off until the late game. But all he was going was Ling, Baneling, Hydra. Maybe that was the mistake. Maybe he needed some infestors for some fungal. Maybe the Hydras were a mistake. He didn't really kill that many medevacs. Only 1 of them went down in this game, which is a huge reason for the Terran win, too, I gotta say. Man. All right, let's go into game number 2 here. We'll be right back. Game 2 of our sneaky twofer is here on Eternal Empire, the Ladder Edition. I told you that Cure was capable of beating Serral, and he proved it. In game number 1, top right-hand corner, we have Serral again. And in the bottom left, it is Cure. Holy smokes, you guys. Man, what micro he had. To stutter step accurately, to target fire the Banelings, to lift up when he knew he was overwhelmed. And man, to overcome a loss of more than 20 SCVs when you've only killed 3 drones of Serral's and hadn't killed a hatch. I don't think I've ever seen a game like that against an elite Zerg player. Or maybe I haven't seen one for a long time. Holy smokes, you guys. That was a super, super great game. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Okay, no proxies here. No proxy hatch. Just 16, 18, 17 from Serral. And Cure's going for a 1 Rex expand, which is very safe and economical. And if you don't want to scout, that is the way to go. I can tell you that much. Man, I am still kind of reeling from that game number 1. Anyway, actually, hold on a second. Did I do a thing? I did a thing. There we go. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's what we want. That, yes, the building colors. As they're building, we can see how much HP they have. There we go. I like how that's considered damaged. I wonder if they would fix that in a future patch of StarCraft to where a building unit isn't damaged. Right? It's only after it's finished construction and then it gets attacked that it's damaged. Anyway, this Reaper's name is Lollapalooza. Which, I don't think that's actually... I mean, there's no backstory here, but it's like Lollapalooza. What is Lollapalooza? I'm assuming it's a name from a movie, probably. Maybe something with, like, Chevy Chase or Steve Martin. It's kind of what it feels like. Martin Sheen, somebody around there. Regardless, Serral doing things. SCV comes in for the scout, says, all right, that hatch timing makes sense. We can actually send the Reaper across the map now, and he decides it's time to go across the map now. Overlord scout and try to see some stuff. Trying to think of what Serral did wrong in that game. Again, I think some Infestors would have been really nice to have rather than the Hydralisks who just didn't trade versus all of those Marines and all of those tanks. Cure's macro was just insane. And it really might have been that Serral didn't get his 4th base until it was a little bit too late. He might have not seen it. He might have not responded to it properly. I know Serral's a god, and I know me questioning him on stuff like that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I called it at the time, right? That the timing on that hatch was late compared to what Cure was doing. Cure's 3rd base was under construction way earlier than Serral even considered starting to take his. So, I don't know. We'll see how this game goes. Maybe that was a fluke. Who has any idea what we're looking at here today? It's going to be an interesting game nevertheless. Hellion harassment here. Starport's coming up. Serral's 3rd base going down as you want it to here at about 2.5 minutes as it gets its start. It'll be done in the 3-minute mark somewhere around there. I wonder if Serral is just more interested in going for a shorter game here. He's definitely getting Overlord speed at 3 minutes, though. He is 100% making sure he knows what Cure is up to, and that's the strange thing in the game 1. He actually saw that 3rd command center, and there it is now. And he just didn't respond. He didn't take a 4th base. There wasn't really any reason not to take a 4th base. It's not like he couldn't afford it or he couldn't have enough army to defend. He defended easily what Cure was tossing at him. But I think just over time, Cure's advantage on the 3 bases, Serral effectively on 3 bases, it just wasn't a good location for him and not a good place in the game. Cure is making a 3rd command center and making a fusion core. Is that a tech lab? That's absolutely a tech lab. So this should get scouted. Overlord speed's already done because it got started so stupid early out of Serral. He's going to come in, he's going to see the tech lab on the starboard, he's going to see the fusion core, and he's going to prepare for a battle cruiser. I mean, if I was Cure, I might even just cancel this. Just go for something else. Because, I mean, battle cruiser is an okay unit, but against a Zerg player who knows it's coming, like 2 minutes before it actually arrives, I don't know. I mean, Serral's going to have a ton of queens out, he's going to throw some spores down, he's going to make corruptors if necessary if he sees more than 1 battle cruiser. Yeah, Cure doesn't worry about it. He's like, I got scouted, so what? Battle cruiser in production. At the very least, it's going to force Serral to worry about that. Maybe it'll slow down his macro some. Additionally, again, he scouted the 3rd CC, and I just don't see what's wrong with Serral taking a 4th hatch right now. Like right here on Eternal Empire, maybe over here. If you're interested in taking something on the low ground, I'm not sure that is something he'd be into, though. Coming up a ramp as Terran is a lot scarier than going down a ramp and engaging something on ground. I mean, there's a reason this is vulnerable. Also, you have to worry about this high ground back behind the mineral line because it has the rich Vespian geyser there. Anyway, Overlord comes in, says, all right, you didn't cancel the fusion core. This is definitely going to be a battle cruiser, so let's make sure we got a bunch of queens in production. He's making a Roach Warren, which I have seen Zerg players do that recently, where they go for the Roach Warren and they try to get some damage done on the 3rd base of the Terran player while their battle cruiser doing stuff on the other side here. Force the battle cruiser home sometimes. Maybe pick off a few SCVs because a lot of the army and a lot of the resources are tied up in this BC. So we'll see if he jumps across now or if he flies across traditionally so we can jump back home. First, he's going to kill an Overlord. Because Overlords, even with speed, are not faster than battlecruisers. And there's the jump. And he jumps up here. Interesting location. So there are queens in both spots. That is a bad place, man. You look at this. I'm telling you, a prepared Serral is a terrible thing. It is a terrible thing for anybody who is Terran. The Hellions are trying to cruise on in, but there are roaches waiting for them. And the queens are coming to handle them too. A bit of a body block there. And once again, Serral's not taking a fourth. He's totally happy being on 3 bases at 6 minutes. Whereas Cure's third base is getting saturated even as we speak. The battlecruiser is keeping his attention by doing nothing. It's so dangerous that Serral can't just leave it alone. He's going to leave it alone, though. And if you're Cure, this is when you jump in. This is absolutely when you come in, when those queens are gone. Can he tell? He can... I can't really see over this way. I don't know. It's hard to see. The Hellions are clearing creep tumors out. Is he attacking his own... He might have attacked his own Hellion, so the splash damage would kill a creep tumor there, which is just such a Gosu move. So third base is, well, there's an Overseer flying over it. There's a battlecruiser here, too. And once you have a multiple... there you go. Battlecruiser comes in. Once you have multiple BCs, that's when a Corruptor... or Corruptors are necessary, and a Spire is necessary. So Serral's going for that. And again, a Ling attack into third base kills a couple SCVs, but whatever. Cure's fine. He's at 63 workers. He's got mules. This queen is probably going to die. Nice transfuse, though. You can never underestimate the transfuse when there's battle cruisers around. 10 Corruptors in production. Okay, and now a fourth base from Serral at 7 minutes. And he is taking the Rich Vespian Geyser. Interesting. I didn't think he would. So Cure's getting Yamato. I mean, this is something we've seen work pretty well against Zergs on the channel recently. I'm not sure that I've ever seen Serral die to this particular strategy. Man, taking a queen down and then just jumping out is such a baller move. So how many kills did you get, Battlecruiser? 4, including the queen? Not super efficient, but again, it kept Serral's attention for a while. It might have slowed down his fourth base, although that's pretty much the timing he did in the last game too. So seems like Serral has a bit of a pattern and a plan of what he's trying to do, and I don't know that I completely agree with it. It's okay. He's thrown down a Nidus network. He has enough queens and roaches to handle these Hellions. And Cure is meching it. He's trying to make it happen. Tanks in production. Oh, Cyclones, actually. Going for Cyclones now. Change his mind on that factory. Infestation Pit coming in. And this could be like a Swarm Host Nidus play. Against Race Car Mech, I'm not a huge fan of it. Oh my gosh. Is he just going to be able to Caustic Spray all over this Orbital Command? It can lift, though, is the problem. He's trying to find the battle cruisers, but ow. Yamato's enough to one-shot a Corruptor. And there's 3 battle cruisers there. And there are SCVs to repair as well. So Serral didn't like what he saw. He maybe could have Caustic Sprayed down like a refinery or something. That would have been nice, but, you know, not risking it. He is going for the Swarm Host, though. This is the first time I've seen Serral respond to mech from the Terran with Swarm Hosts and Nidus, which, again, I have not seen work for anybody, including Dark, including Rogue, including Sue. So can Serral make the strategy work against an elite Terran player? We'll have to find out, won't we? We've seen TY win with this. We've seen Innovation win with this against a great Zerg player. Again, like Dark, like Rogue. So this is actually a good test for my theory that if you go Swarm Host versus a meching elite Terran, you're not going to win. Look at Cure throwing down a fourth base at 9 minutes. I mean, this is just macro. The macro heavy style. Serral's got a 5th base coming up north, which is really good for him. Nidus Swarm does erupt. Not in a particularly terrifying place for Cure. I guess maybe they can launch onto the natural base. Never mind, that's pretty scary. So here they come. Here they come. A battle cruiser trying to run over this way. And one battle cruiser dies. But the other 2 do manage to get out. Locust dropping. Trying to focus down some of these units. Again, it's free damage. Locusts are free units here. Not many SCVs die, which is a huge part of winning this. Is not many SCVs die. I can't believe you threw up a Nidus right here in full view of everything. But Tank Fire, Hellbats are here. They don't have the Blue Flame yet. Actually, did it just finish? It just finished. Okay. Another Nidus up north. This is just Serral trying to pick Cure apart. Thor's in production now. Their anti-air is actually pretty impressive versus Locust. Just the sheer damage output it can do. But this is Serral being extremely annoying and allowing him to get a ton of workers up. And just jump on top of his tanks and keep the tank count low. There we go. That's like 3 or 4 tanks down right there. 3 or 4 tanks down right there. I mean, this is actually, I don't know. I'm not sure if they've done enough damage. Cure doesn't seem super rattled. He's on 4 bases. He's got 80 SCVs. He's making Thors. He's getting upgrades. He's working on 2-2 for his mech. His battle cruisers are ready for another swarm of locusts to come up over this way. Is Serral splitting his forces? He has so many Nidus Swarms out right now. Is he going to try to move into Throat Ravager, assuming all the tanks are dead? I mean, the tank count is still pretty scary out of Cure. Locust coming in. Maybe they don't want to engage with missile turrets all that much. They are trying to come around a different area. Avoiding that stuff. Thor getting the splash damage up, but I think that Thor is dead. Tanks get focused, and the Thor dies, though. And a tank dies. My gosh, Locusts. Locusts are good. In the hands of somebody like Serral, they look unstoppably good. But I'm telling you, I have recently cast games. You've probably seen them featuring Rogue, featuring Dark, featuring Sue, that have tried this and not been able to do anything against the Terran player to slow him down. Look, another base from Cure. I mean, Cure's army has taken some hits, but he's still at 114 supply. Roach Ravager trying to sneak on in here, but there are tanks in siege mode, and Hellbats and Thors. So maybe we don't want to come into Roach Ravager there, and in fact, they do not. Is he just throwing up Nidus Worms wherever he wants right now? I'm not sure any have actually died, to be honest with you. There are 5 Nidus Worms out, and 3 of them have gone down. Okay, so Cure is doing a decent job killing worms. There's another one toast. Launching into a planetary fortress with caustic spray on top of it. Oh, this is such a disgustingly stupid move. Out of Serral, he takes down the planetary fortress and gets out with minimal losses. This is why Serral is Serral. In his hands, this strategy looks really stupidly overpoweredly good. But I'm telling you, it's not always the case. And again, Cure losing a base is a problem. I'm not going to tell you it's not a problem. But he has a bunch of bases rolling right now. He has a ton of gas. His army supply is 118. Yeah, Serral's is higher, but a lot of his supply is tied up in Swarm Hosts, which are dead weight for 41 seconds at a time. That's the cooldown on the Locusts. Cure pushing across the map. He might just go try to kill Serral here. He assumes maybe he has enough back. He does not have enough back home. So the battle cruiser is here to help. And it does pretty well against Locusts. It's going to rack up some serious kills here. But a tank dies, and a couple SCVs die. That's not enough to stop Cure from continuing this attack. He's got his Hellbats. He's got his tanks. The Roach Ravager cannot handle this. This is way too much Terran right here. Corrosive Biles getting dodged fairly ably by Cure. Maybe trying to get up this ramp. Maybe canceling an attempt at a +3 on the Evolution Chamber. That'd be a huge deal. He left the tanks alone a little bit, though. Losing one there to the Corrosive Bile, but he's continuing to push up. Caustic Spray on this planetary fortress. And the Thor's trying to save the day by killing Corruptors one by one, but he doesn't kill them fast enough. And the planetary goes down again, but still. Cure, giant army over here. He's got a ton of Blue Flame Hellbats with +2 attack, and he's going to try to kill these Locusts real fast. And does a pretty good job of it. There's still a bunch of tanks remaining here. Now the Locusts are not available for another 40, 30 seconds or so. This is really tight. Cure marching up this ramp. You generally don't want to march up a ramp here against a Corrosive Bile player. Check these Broodlords out, though, from Serral. Is that going to be enough? Is that what's going to hold off this attack? Production tab says maybe. Maybe it is. Infestation Pit going to get focused down here. I mean, as long as we're here and it's within firing range, let's take it out. Absolutely. But the Swarm Hosts are here. The Broodlords are ready to pop. And Cure's army is about to get surrounded by free units and get obliterated. So this push was nice. This push is also totally over right now. There's not enough Hellbats. There's not enough Thors for the Broodlords. And I mean, yes, target firing them is really nice, but the transfuse is available because they're on this side of the map. And Cure's army gets wiped out. That's exactly what Serral wanted to do, and it went perfectly for him. So Cure's trying to rebuild his 5th base. He's trying to take the base in the bottom right here, which I think Serral is aware of. He's aware of it because he has an Overlord in the neighborhood. Yeah, it's 135 to 102 army supply. Again, a lot of that is Swarm Host, and they're not ready to do anything yet, but the Broodlords are coming across. Are there enough Thors to handle them? Are there any Vikings to handle them at all? And the answer is no. No Vikings. 4 Vikings in production is going to be here in time. The Blue Flame Hellbats are trying to take these Broodlings down, but it's so much more annoying to kill Broodlings compared to Locusts because when the Locust wave is gone, it's gone. Broodlings keep coming. They keep coming, and they don't stop coming, and they are super, super annoying to deal with. Thor's, again, trying to target fire on these Brood Lords. Not really working out for him, though. Locust dropping down on everything. And you know what? None of the... oh, just kidding. Thor does go down right at the end there. Corrosive Biles on the Vikings. Too many Corruptors for the small Viking count that there is. Planetary Fortress trying to help. Trying to hold its 139 to 87 total army supply. This is looking really tough for Cure here in game 2 of our sneaky twofer. The Broodlords, the Ravagers, the Queens are here for transfuses. When there are Queens on the offensive, you know you're in trouble. You know the Zerg player feels really confident, and the Planetary Fortress falls. Cure trying to hold on here, but losing that base for the 3rd time today is not a way to do it. Wait, is that the one that's died 3 times? I think it is. Locust jumping on top of the Thors. Once again, nothing really there to handle them. The Brood Lord Locust Broodling combo is brutal, and bam! Serral ends up taking it in 60 minutes and 30 seconds to tie it up. Serral makes it work. I'm telling you, there was a moment there where Cure was across the map and he had a big scary mech army, and there really wasn't much there for Serral, but then the Broodlords popped, and then the Locusts were there at the same time, and everything worked out for him in the end. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen the strategy work against a meching Terran. Period. So, Serral can do it. I'm not sure anyone else can. We'll see. We'll have to see. We'll keep watching. Keep watching these games. Man, 31 tanks died for Cure. That's nuts. And when you're playing a meching style and you lose 30,000 resources compared to the 16,000 for your Zerg opponent, you're doing something wrong. That is disgusting. Like, look at that. You cannot be at a 2-to-1 ratio and lose that game. So, Serral makes it work. The 4th base timing was late, but, you know, it was fine in the end. Loses 10 Nidus Worms, which is a lot of Nidus Worms. Ends up, did he not lose a Swarm Host? He didn't lose a single Swarm Host. He had 16 at the end of the game. None of them died. That's massive, too. 5 Broodlords died. Can't really avoid that. 11 drones went down. 20 SCVs. Not too much dead on that front, but 3 Planetary Fortresses and 2 Command Centers died, and no hatcheries died. That is something you can't really do. You can't lose that many bases. You can't lose that base 3 times in a row and lose 2 CCs and consider yourself in a good position. So great job by Serral getting the game to win there in our sneaky twofer between these 2 players. And that is going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch. Haul it /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.